game easily. BTB, who's feeling the same? Everything that we speak is building a flame. It sparks from the beat, so remember the name. From the bars that we bring, who's killing the game easily. BTB, who's feeling the same?
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Bring the Bars podcast. As always, I'm your host, KC, aka KingCanada, and we got a unique episode in store today because today it's just me. I decided to do this, drop a podcast episode before the awards airs next week. I know everybody's excited for that. I know I am. The editing's almost done, a couple final touches, but man, am I ever excited. I hope you guys are blown away. All the performers, thank you for doing what you do. All the presenters, thank you for coming on to present an award. Third annual BTB Awards next week, and damn, am I ever excited for that one. It's going to be a good one. But we're doing a solo podcast today. I put a Q&A section on the BTB group and also on my personal page, and a whole bunch of you guys came with questions. I don't know if I'll be able to get through them all. I'll try to. I haven't really studied the questions. I have them all written down right here, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm pulling up the question. But I know some of them are going to be tough to answer, but I'm going to do my best to answer every single one of them, and just thank you guys for all the questions for sure. But we're going to get right into it then. So this is the KingCanada KC episode of the Bring the Bars podcast. This should be fun. All right, first question I got was from RAP, Rhythm and Poetry. He has a two-part question, one for myself and one about the BTB group. But we'll start the first one is, what would be the best advice you'd give to someone to get over that hump of writing their first song? Just do it. I really don't know how else to put it. It's always nerve-wracking. I remember my first song, and you're always going to improve. You can't expect your first time writing a song that it's going to be this hit, this viral sensation. I'm sure it has happened to people in the past, but you can't expect that. And you just gotta do it. You gotta feel comfortable with it. And at first, you probably won't feel that comfortable with it. So my advice is, if you really want to do this and you want to see what kind of reach you can get and what people think, just do it. Just write it, release it, write it, record it, release it, and let it go from there. And there's nothing more you can do. Just gotta commit to it, do it, and go from there. Next question from RAP was question for BTB. Did you ever think the group would end up having as much reach as it does? No, not even close. I started this group in the pandemic, and I kind of thought after the pandemic, I thought the group would kind of die a bit, and it didn't, because I thought everybody would just be back to their lives, going their separate ways, but it never died down. And the reach we have now, hitting people all over the world, from Africa to the UK, Canada, USA, man, it's been insane. And we got a main core of BTB, I find, that's been there either from the beginning or very close. It's getting harder to integrate new members. I always try to bring new guys in, but a lot of them don't work out because they'll say they'll participate in the group, whatever, and then I notice they just drop links and leave. And that's not what the group's about. But I never thought ever BTB would have the reach it does. Not even close. And even hearing, like, I hear a Mali music song and I hear him say BTB in a song. Jumpin' Joe, and I hear him say BTB in a song. Of course, the label mates, C-Mac, Automatic, Rod, so like everybody, Kofa, just shouts out BTB. And it's getting to a point where I think people are probably going to wonder, like, what the hell is BTB? And it makes them search it. And yeah, it's been crazy. And every time I hear BTB shouted out in a song, it's insane. I always get a smile on my face for sure. So no, never would have thought I would have the reach. But now where I'm at today, I want it more. I want to reach more. I want to get bigger. I want to get better. And now I believe we can reach more. But when it first started to be where I'm at today, no way that I would have thought we would be here right now and about to do the third annual BTB Awards. All right. Next question was from Gen X, a producer. How was BTB created and what started it all? I said earlier how it started during the pandemic, which it did, but the BTB group came about when I was first putting together Global Domination 1. I had this idea where I wanted to do an album with all features. I never did features much before, unless it was with people on location, my cousin or friends or stuff like that. And so I had this concept, global domination, every track has a feature. So I reached out in all those hip-hop groups that a lot of us complain about, but you know, a lot of you guys came from those groups, so there are some benefits to them. But I reached out to a bunch of artists, and a whole bunch of them came back to me and said, yes, 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 they love the idea, they love the idea. And everybody I worked with was just so great to work with. The camaraderie I felt like was building, we were talking more, and then I decided all these people have the same kind of vision I have, the same style of networking as well that I have, and everybody just wanted to improve and improve together, you know, as a team. So I thought of putting together the BTB group. Well, after Global Domination 1, it went to the podcast because I really liked working with a lot of these artists, and I actually wanted to talk to them to get to know them more, their upbringing, what got them into hip hop. So I started the podcast, and the first guest was JP, the Pompaphilian. Before anything was thought of, he agreed to hop on. I told him, I've never done this before, man. I don't know how well this will work out, who will reach. And it did really well. And so that was like the basis of the BTB group, because the podcast was called the BTB podcast. And then I decided, let's put a Facebook group together and give people chances to get on the podcast. So the BTB group, you guys know the rules and networking and all that stuff. And the top artists would get a chance to be on the podcast. And it became more than that over time, but that's pretty much how it started. It started with Global Domination 1. It went so well. Went to the podcast. That went well. So I took a next step in the BTB group, and that's been going well as well. That's been going well too. So that's pretty much how it started. Global Domination 1 started it all. That's for sure. And the main artists from the beginning: JP, Jumpin' Joe, Kronos, Mally Music, Otis Isaacs. A bunch of these guys who were there, Automatic the Ruthless, it all started because everybody had the same vision. And yeah, that's how it all started. All right, next question is from CMAC. What made you want to become a rapper? CMAC and Automatic both asked this question to me. I always liked poetry when I was younger. Even I was a rock and roll fan as well. Like growing up, that's what my dad listened to. But I found myself more going the way of rock and roll lyrics, where they rhyme their lyrics in the rock songs. And I just loved the ring to a rhyme in a track. And I was really into poetry, stuff like that. And then I found hip hop at a young age, and it blew me away. I was like, this is a genre of music where people just rhyme on a track. And I absolutely loved it. Then that turned into me with buddies just screwing around, freestyling. Sometimes we write these little cheesy bars or whatever it is. Never really got into recording. But we would freestyle and screw around. And I had a buddy, his name was Brennan back in the day. We don't keep in touch anymore. He used to freestyle all the time. And then he got programs on mixing and mastering back in the day. This would have been 2003, I guess. And 2003, 2004. And then we started writing and recording, and then I started finding out, like, damn, this is cool. And I actually like how this is sounding. Today, if I look back on that first track, I probably think it's pathetic, but we were liking how it was sounding, and we were passing around at school, and everybody wanted to freestyle with us, and it was just a cool time. So that's what got me into it, was just the poetry of it, and just being able to play with the English language and stuff like that. That's always been fun to me. I've been a good student in English classes growing up as well, and it was just all fun for me. It started out as something I wanted to do just for fun. Then it became more of like a hobby that was taking over more and more time. Then it pushed to, okay, I really want to try something. And that's when I came up with an album. Then I actually went to college, went to school. It was for film and video broadcasting, but there was an audio class as well where I got to learn. And every time we would do a big project for our class, everybody, Sean's on audio, Sean's on audio. And that was just always the thing I loved. So yeah, that's what got me into it. Just having fun with the English language and being able to tell a story, reach people. And it's fun for me. It's all fun for me. So yeah, that's how I got into why I became a rapper. All right, this next one is from Kronos. What is your least favorite part about being an artist? Whew, that's a tough one. Just the anxiety or the nerves of it all, I would say. Especially at the beginning, going to release that first track. How's it going to be received? How are you going to take the criticism if you get it? Yeah, that's like my least favorite part. And just the logistics of it all too, promoting it, pushing it. I've gotten better at it, especially with the BTB group and over time. But at first it was just, I was lost. You know, I posted a track on YouTube, come back a couple weeks later, I'm like, how come only 2 people listened to this or saw this video? So that was like the biggest hump to overcome, is to try to find an audience. But yeah, that's definitely my least favorite part, just the anxiety of it before a track comes out and before it releases. You go through these like highs and lows, recording it, writing it, it's yeah, this is gonna sound awesome. Recording it and then mixing it, you're gonna have like 12 mixes by the time you're done. Is it ready? Is it ready? Is it good enough? Is it good enough? You listen to it one day, yeah, it's gonna be dope. You listen to it the next day, you're like, this sucks. And then you go through all these highs and these lows until you finally release it, and then it's out of your hands. But yeah, that's definitely my least favorite part, just the anxiety leading up to a release, for sure. Another one from Chronos is, from a fan's perspective, when you go to a live performance, what's the one thing you focus on? What is the most important thing for you to be considered a good performance? Stage presence, for sure. 100% stage presence. I've been noticing actually a lot on Facebook, these posts about people rapping over their vocals or removing their vocals. Which one do you prefer? I'm good with both. As long as you put on a good show when I go see you live, that's all. I want the stage presence. I want you to incorporate the audience into it. Make us all feel a part of it. Make yourself seem, well, hopefully you are, but that you're having fun and you're having a blast and these are your people, and you get the crowd hyped and you get them to chant along with you, or you get them to say something, or when they do, the left side do this, the right side say this. You got to incorporate the audience all the way through, because you got to keep them engaged the whole time, or else they're just going to lose interest. And if you're a new artist and you're like opening for somebody, a lot of people in that crowd, they have no idea who you are, what music you're going to perform, and any lyric to any of your songs. So it's not like they're going to sing along. So you guide them and you play with them. You know, when I say K, you say C, and stuff like that. It's something as simple as that. But you got to incorporate the audience, and they'll feed off your energy. So you go up there and look like you're having a blast, and everybody's your family, and everybody's going to treat you with that the same way. So that's the way I look at a performance. Just have stage presence. Rap over vocals, don't rap over vocals. It's not a big deal to me. So I just want a fun show, and I want a fun night, and I want the artist to be having a fun night with me. So that's what I look for in the performance. We're going to do a quick cut right now. I didn't bring any water, and I need some water. All right, we're back. Got my sip of water. An old school Halloween cup. But we're going to go on to the next question. And that is from Mr. Rhythmic. Question for KC. What aspect do you listen for when looking for a new beat? It all depends, to be honest. I don't really have a vibe or a style, I would say. I definitely have more of a West Coast, East Coast kind of style vibes, boom bap vibe for sure. But it depends what I'm planning to write about. A lot of times I have a concept in my head first. So depending on the song and what I can hear in my head or how a lyric goes, I can try to find a beat to match that. Either like a softer beat with pianos when I want to say more of a message, or if I want to just go pure lyrical, I'm going boom bap. But it all depends on the topic that's in my head. Sometimes I go in blank and I'll just go through beats that I have or I own, and I'll just click through, and sometimes something will just trigger in my brain. It's not even a specific sound or specific style, but it just triggers something in my brain to be, and then an idea pops in and goes that way. But usually I have the concept in my head first, and I pick a beat based around the concept I want to write about. It has to have a few switches in it too. I don't like just a boring, you know, the whole beat sounds the exact same. I love a little bit of switches in it. The hook part of it has to really stand out and punch compared to the verse part of it. But yeah, that's basically it for the beat choosing. Joe the Poet asks, what motivates you to keep making music? Easy. I love doing it. It's fun for me. I used to be a big video gamer in the past, even like a big film buff, you know, always going to the theaters, this and that. I don't do any of those things anymore. To me, I can't even remember the last time I played a video game. Sometimes I get together with my stepdad and we play some old Tiger Woods Golf 2007 from the PlayStation 2, because that's a game he always played, and you know, that's what we play. It's a nice relaxing game. We just talk, chill, maybe smoke a little, have a drink or two, but that's all I do for video gaming now, which is insane because I was a diehard gamer. But to me, music's just fun, and that's what keeps motivating me to do it, because I want to do it, and it's fun to do it, and that's my hobby, it's my spare time. And of course, my support system around me. My family is a massive influence on motivating me and allowing me the time to do it as well, especially because, you know, we're not making a shit ton of money doing this. So it takes up a lot of time, but they're definitely motivating, and just that feeling of getting to show Laura, my wife, a track I made, or showing the group a track I made, and it's just I just love doing it. I absolutely love doing it, and that's what motivates me to keep doing it, and my family allows me to do that as well. So props to them, because I wouldn't be here without them. But yeah, just fun for me. All right, Endless Misfit asks, what is your ultimate goal as an artist and the lead of BTB? This one's a tough one. I don't really have an ultimate goal in mind. My ultimate goal for it is to still be around. I want BTB to grow, obviously. I want everybody to reach their potential that I know they have. And yeah, I just want us to still be around. You know, I would love to be able to just keep doing it. I don't want anything to happen financially or anything like that where it crushes that I don't have time to do it. Yeah, I don't have an ultimate goal to be famous or to be rich. To make a living off of this would be fucking amazing. I would love that to be the ultimate goal. But to just be around, and even in 10 years from now, to still have BTB and to still be making music. Like I said earlier, what motivates me, it's just fun for me. I love doing it. And I love doing these shows. I love doing the awards. I love doing the podcast. Yeah, so I just want to still be around. It's basically the ultimate goal. And for everybody to succeed, of course, myself included. I'm not saying I won't take the money or the fame, but it's not an ultimate goal of mine. It's just to grow it little by little, step by step, and where it goes is where it goes. So that's my ultimate goal. All right, now we got G-Bones. If you could be in a super group with one mainstream hip-hop artist, one artist or group from another music genre, and one artist from the BTB page, who would you mesh together and why? Man, that's a tough one. If you could be in a super group, one artist, mainstream, I'll have to go to one of the guys who got me into hip-hop itself, Eminem. So he'll be my mainstream artist. An artist or a group from another genre. That's a tricky one. So I grew up as a rock fan. So anybody on drums for instrumental would be pretty cool. Travis Barker on drums would be pretty dope. So I'll go Eminem for the mainstream, Travis Barker for the other artist from another genre. I know he does hip hop, but I don't know if that counts as another group or another genre. And one from the BTB group. Damn. I can't pick one from the group. I'll pick my whole label. So BTB Records. We'll all just come on and do a verse, cypher style. But if I had to go with one group that I think would mesh with me and Eminem, as well as Travis Barker on the drums really well, I think... well, G-Bones herself would be awesome, to be honest with you. I know you're a fan of Eminem and stuff like that. You got the same style and statements. Not same style, not even close, but you bring the lyrics. You're all about the bars. So yeah, I would go Eminem, Travis Barker, G-Bones, and myself. That's what I would do if I had to pick just one. But like I said, I love the whole label on there. It's hard to pick one artist from the BTB group. This is it's almost impossible. But that's what I'll say. All right, now we're going to Jamel Shane. Your writing process. How do you write your song? Choose the cadence and topic. Usually just starts in my head. Just sitting here thinking without even a beat or something. A lot of times it'll be a topic I want to talk about, or even just as simple as a line pops in my head, a rhyme. So it all starts with that. And then, like I was saying earlier, then I go sit down and maybe try to find a beat to fit what I'm trying to say, or to fit the line I came up with, or the bars I came up with. So then it goes to that step. And then I just continue off the bars. Even at the bar that I'm saying and I find a beat and it doesn't really match the beat, that's where I pick my cadence, because I'll still say the same thing I'm pretty much trying to say, but I'll just switch the cadence up to match the beat. So it all just plays off one another. It starts with the idea or a line, goes to the beat, and then I just play off that idea and those bars. And usually I write verses first, usually, unless the idea of the song really in my head and like I just have this catchy thing stuck in my head, catchy tune stuck in my head. But it usually starts with the verses first as well, and then I go around to the hook, which I know a lot of people start with the hook first. That's the basis of a song, but I don't consider myself a great hook guy. I never have. A lot of people say they love my hooks, but I just love writing verses, so it usually starts with that. And even sometimes I'll get a section of the verse and I'll be like, oh, that'll fit for the hook, and then I can switch it around, that kind of stuff. But it's pretty basic. It goes in like an order, and it can switch up depending on the track or the beat as well, especially for cadences. The beat has switches. You got to switch along with it. So, all right. Next question from JP, the Pompaphilian. This one got me thinking when he sent it the other day, but are you ever biased about your opinion of a song if you know the artist personally? This one's tough. I was thinking about it. All these questions I usually just wrote down. I didn't really give much thought. I wanted to do it here live, but when I read that one, I was like, oh, I don't really know, to be honest. I would like to say I don't, but odds are I do. Odds are I am biased. I'd like to say I'm not, but so I find with people I know more personally, I can be more, I can criticize them a little more to them because I know them more personally and they know I love their music. So if they send me a song or something, I'm not feeling it or something like that, I can let them know easier than some artists I just don't know at all. And also at the same time, it's a matter of opinion that even if I did really like a song, or I really didn't like a song, I should say, I can tell them that they can still choose to release it. Who am I to say if a song's good or not? It's just because I don't like it doesn't mean a million other people don't. There's so many hip-hop stars that sell out shows in arenas, and I couldn't even name one track from them. I'm just not a fan of either their voice, their style, whatever. And I know a lot of you guys probably aren't really a fan of my music. Some of you are, some of you aren't, and that's fine. As long as you respect the person or respect the craft. But I would say, see, this is tough because, like I say, I don't think I'm biased, but I probably am. So that's how it goes. But like I said, I can be more keen to give criticism to somebody that I know, because they know me personally as well, and they know I wouldn't just attack them or, you know, that song's trash. I would never do something like that. But so yeah, that was a really good question. That was a fun one to answer, and I remember thinking about it, going, I don't think I am, but I probably am. So, all right, Biz Scotty. Ooh, this one's a good one too. What's your favorite and least favorite part about being the owner and head chief of BTB Group and the label? My favorite part, all the connections I get to make with everybody from around the world, especially doing this podcast with them. So all the connections, all the people I meet, and just listening to great music. It surprises me how damn good you guys are. Like these independent artists, not a lot of people know a lot about us, and you guys are, so many of you guys blow me away every time, and I just love it. That's my favorite part, the connections and the music itself. My least favorite part, it's trying to keep the group together. Like I'm the glue that ties it together, and sometimes I just don't, it's a lot of time, and I just don't have it, and sometimes I see the group kind of drifting apart or people falling off, and I hate that, and I want to bring them back together. And it's just constantly always trying to come up with new ideas as well is really tough. But my absolute least favorite part is, it's happened a few times. I won't be mentioning anybody's names. But when you ask somebody to do something for either the award show, for example, or for the podcast or for a feature, and they say yes, and you give them like a month's notice, 30 days, 35 days. And I'll check on them every week to make sure, you still good for it? You still good? If not, that's cool. Just let me know so I can find a replacement. That's all. Like, I'll never be upset for you being like, I can't do it. That's completely fine. That's completely understandable. But to keep week after week going, I'm good for it. I'm good for it. I'm good for it. Till it hits the deadline, and then you're like, ah, shit, man, sorry, I couldn't get it done. That drives me nuts. And that's me with my work ethic, and I get life gets in the way. But if I'm asking you week by week and you keep saying, you're good for it, you're good for it, and you leave me to the last minute to find a replacement, luckily there's so many of you guys in the group that I always have in the back of my mind as a replacement, because I know you guys would get it back to me in absolute no time. So shout out to you guys. You guys know who you are. But yeah, that's my least favorite part for sure, is being told they will, or and then they don't. And I don't know if that's because people are scared to say no at first or whatever it may be. But yeah, if you can't do something, just let me know. No harm, no foul. I'll find a replacement. There's so many members in this group that, that would love to hop on the opportunity. So yeah, that's it for that. Least favorite group. Least favorite part is definitely that right there, being told yes, 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 and then no. And keeping everything together and in line, coming up with new ideas. It's tough, but those are so minuscule, and it barely ever happens with what I was saying there. It just bugs me when it does. And even the coming up with the new ideas, like I said, all this is more fun than anything. I'm just nitpicking. None of this stuff makes or breaks me. So, all right, next question we're going on to is from Jumpin' Joe the Rapper. What are your 3 basic principles in the music game? All 3 can be practice, 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 but I won't say that. I'd say you got to work your ass off. You got to be hardworking, because, like I said, a lot of us don't really make a lot of cash in this, and it takes up so much of our time. So you gotta be motivated. You gotta love it, and you gotta work your ass off. Number 2 is definitely practice. Keep improving. Always try to improve. Listen to criticism even as well. I like getting criticism. I might not agree with something somebody says about criticizing something I do, but I do take it into consideration, and I never take it personally unless they personally attack me like you just fucking suck or something like that. But and the last principle in music is to get help, really. You hear all these rises of independent artists and stuff. Tech9 is a major one who really broke. And you got a lot of these YouTube rappers as well, indie artists. One I just went and saw live, Chris Webby. But they might be independent artists, but they get a lot of help from connections they make from either producers to directors, anything, engineers, anything like that. You don't do it alone. It's so much of a task to take on to do it alone. So build a team. So you got to be hardworking, you got to have a lot of practice, and you got to have a team. And you got to have a team you can trust along the way. Those are my 3 principles in the music game. All right, guys, we're getting to the end of the questions here. This last one is actually from my girl, from Laura. She wanted to ask one in the thing. Well, she's got a 2-parter as well. So if a stranger came up to you and asked you for your music, what would be the first song I would show them of mine? Oh, I really don't know. This is a real tough one. I might go with After the Fall, just because it's more of my story about how I was getting to where I am now, and what I went through to get through to it. All the stumbles and all the falls, and just getting back up and continuing on. It breaks down the story of BTB a little bit, how I became more full-time into music. And I find it has good cadence, good flow. Hook is on point. So it'd be that one, or also one of my new favorites I did off my surprise EP is Outsider. One of my favorite tracks I think I've ever wrote. So it'd be between one of those 2. And the final question of the podcast is, what has the BTB group taught you? I like this one. You guys taught me a lot. Watching you guys work and seeing you guys work and how hard you guys go to push stuff, create music, and all that stuff. What I learned is just how much you guys can motivate me so damn much. It's insane. I watch people like Chronos, big example. Hector Biggs with his own studio and his own bigger productions. You know, those are just two examples off the top of my head, and the work you guys put in motivates me so much. And even if I take like a day off or something and I see Kronos is out there working out a show, or Hector Biggs is in the studio, I'm like, damn, what the hell am I doing? I'm getting upstairs and I'm going to start doing something. So it's the motivation is what I learned from you guys, and just how when I first got into this, and like I said, with the start of the BTB group, with all those other Facebook groups, you know, 100,000 members, and you post a link and you just get spammed to shit. And it's kind of defeating at first, like, really, this is what everybody's like. And the BTB group taught me there's like a whole different side of this game than what's being played in a lot of groups and stuff. There's a lot of us here who want to do it as a team, who want to help each other grow, and who want to network. And yeah, a lot of people have just this kind of the same vision I have. So that's definitely something I learned from you guys. Learn how to work my ass off. I keep saying that, but it's true. But you guys motivate me all the time. And I learned that there's more like-minded people like me, and it's awesome. So that's what I learned from you guys. But this is it, man. This was the first ever solo podcast for the BTB podcast. This was a lot of fun. This was different. Never done this before. I appreciate all your guys' questions. Some of those, all those questions were great, and it was nice to answer them. I know I get to hear a lot of your stories. You guys don't hear a lot of mine. So I just wanted to do something a little differently, especially before the awards, like we said at the beginning. Guys, next week, I hope to see you all tuning into the chat for this one, because, man, we got a hell of a show. I'm going to give you guys a heads up. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the BringTheBars YouTube channel for the awards next week, May 25th, Thursday. Starts at 8, like I just said, and it's going to be a little over of a 2-hour show. The very first awards we did was like an hour and a half, I believe, like not even 80 minutes. Second one came out, it was like 2 hours and 5 minutes. This one's coming out, it's going to be about 2 hours and 12 minutes. So just be prepared for that. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Roll one up, pour a drink, or do none of those. Have some water, you know, anything you guys want. But I hope to see you all in the chat, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. And for those of you guys who stuck around to the end of this podcast, I appreciate it. It's just been me talking. I never talked this much in my life, just to myself and to a camera. But yeah, thank you guys for the questions. Thank you guys for tuning in. This was the Bring the Bars podcast featuring me, KingCanada, KC, and we'll see you guys next Thursday in that live chat.